Grand evening, everyone. It is Saturday, May 16th, 2026. It is after 1800 hours in the evening, Central Daylight Time. This started at about 1800 hours and 30 minutes, Central Daylight Time here in the United States, Texas specifically. I'm just testing my audio. It's strange. Okay. Should be working all right. It has been some days. I see Towernator, there you are in the chat, in the live chat, as this is initially a live stream recording that is posted to my YouTube channel. So, let's see, we gotta test this audio. No unusual. Well, the audio is working. It's just, I'm not sure if it's the device I'm using audio or the headset that I'm using. Okay, it'll do for now. This night is the total kinetic phase of World War III, week 12. It has officially been 12 weeks for this total kinetic phase of World War III. The war is escalating and it is going to be fully resuming soon. So it's slowly been resuming. Things have been deploying and being flown in from the US to Europe and then Europe to the Middle East. That has all been happening during the ceasefire, and the blockade is still in place. There's a lot going on right now. And President Trump is finally back from China. His theatrical trip to China, which had no results besides some kind of vacation maybe. It was all theatrical. Nothing was resolved. Nothing good for peace or any kind of trade. Nothing with China happened there. So that was borderline a waste of time for President Trump. So when President Trump got there, I don't think President Xi, the president of China, he's a dictator, he's a presidential dictator, he didn't greet Trump even at the airport. So that was very telling, very concerning right there. And then on top of that, here domestically in the United States of America, this here, grocery prices, they hit an all-time high. So the cost of living and grocery prices for food and beverages, they are now at an all-time high. After that, we have this here. The U.S. Secret Service was reportedly involved in a very physical standoff with Chinese police in Beijing. So while President Trump was over there, his Secret Service had to keep the Chinese police far away from him and the others there. And then we have this here. They are saying, this was President Trump to Fox News, the leadership of Iran would use a nuclear bomb against us if they possess one. Well, then I said, I think by now they have one or more. Whether they've built it or got it from North Korea or China, potentially both. I strongly believe that. After all of this time and the war and all of the time Iran has had to make it since the first war that Israel was more involved in, I think for certain it is a certainty that Iran has nuclear weapons now. I don't think there's a if about that. I'm almost 100% positive Iran has nuclear weapons now, and they will use it at the right time. They have to get a lot of things in order and organized, and things have to be done in a very certain way for Iran to just use a nuclear weapon if they don't want to be totally destroyed. That could happen either way. So there's a lot of setting up involved with that. The retaliation would be from Europe and the US and Israel if they were to use a nuclear weapon. So Iran has to be very careful when it comes to that, and it takes a lot of time. Now, before even boarding the plane from China to the US, anything handed out by Chinese officials, they were taken and thrown out before boarding Air Force One. So a pool reporter said the US staff took credentials, burner phones, and delegation pins and threw them in a bin before anyone was allowed to board the plane. Nothing from China was allowed on the plane. That's because there's a lot of poisons and small technologies that the Chinese could have put on all of those items. They still might have gotten away with some maybe there's some kind of technological, it's like a technological dust. I think it's called smart dust. And they could have used something like that on the U.S. delegation, President Trump, and who he had with him. Then we have some further breaking news. Some further breaking news that is not on here, though I am receiving it from, I think, Towernator now in the live chat. There's a missile danger currently for the Moscow region. Ukraine is really destroying Russian energy. They've been doing that a lot recently. That has been huge. They're attacking a lot of their critical energy infrastructure, such as their gas plants, their oil and gas plants over there in Russia. And then we have a United States Air Force C-17 transport aircraft that is continuing to follow a familiar pattern seen in the lead up to February 28th, when the when this total kinetic phase of World War III first began. It's shuttling between Europe and the Middle East. That's exactly what I've been saying. It's one of the first things I said on here tonight. The C-17s and all of that, those cargo transports, those military cargo transport planes, they've been going back and forth this entire ceasefire, especially the last couple of days. There's been a lot of aerial activity. The nuclear forces are on very high alert. Very concerning news. So this here, further news on here, we have President Trump also discouraging Taiwan from going independent, says he's not looking to travel 9,500 miles to fight a war. Doesn't make much sense. It's not much further than Iran, and it's far more important because of the chips. There are advanced chips used in several technologies that are made there in Taiwan. And Taiwan is an ally of the US and I think quite possibly European countries. Very strange. He could be lying about that, as I said there. He could be lying to catch China off guard. It's all going to really ramp up. That was before he was back. So it is ramping up as expected. I was right once again. Everything is ramping up. That was a full theatrical trip. Nothing was solved there. As for negotiations, trade, or having China help when it comes to the conflict specifically in Iran, in the Middle East, and the Strait of Hormuz. China is still sitting somewhat on the sidelines. Then we have this here. An underwater bomb was discovered at a dam that supplies drinking water to the entire city of Mobile, Alabama. They are saying, I guess officials are saying, that the IRGC is the main suspect. Then I said the US's CIA is the main suspect, or more unlikely, sleeper cells. It was possibly a sleeper cell that did that, put a bomb over there to take out the main drinking supply, the main drinking water supply for Mobile. I don't really know what the point of that would be. Maybe there's some kind of military base around there. I don't know off the top of my head as for that one. Though they did find some kind of IED that was discovered at that dam. There was an IED there. So that was quite something. An IED that was discovered at a dam in Mobile, Alabama. Not far from there. So this here from Douglas McGregor in further news. So preparations between the United States and Israel to resume combat operations in Iran under a different name are now underway. Operations to begin within days. So I have found out recently that it is going to be called Operation Sledgehammer, and that is what they are renaming or naming the resumption, the total resumption of the war of World War III, the part of it that is taking place in Iran. It's not the Iran war, It is the total kinetic phase of World War III, and the main part of it right now is in Iran and Ukraine. So and Ukraine has been attacking Russia in a very big way in recent days, weeks, months. All of this time, Ukraine has been targeting the critical energy infrastructure, especially the oil and gas. That's mainly what it's been of Russia. And Russia is planning to retaliate in a massive way on Ukraine. They may be getting ready to go and take the capital of Ukraine, Kyiv. Some reason they've been holding back. They've decided not to do that for a long time. Though that they are going to either do that or they will do that and go into the Baltic states through the western side of Belarus. So they're going to go, there's potential for them to do both or one or the other. So they will more than likely go through the eastern side of Belarus and northern Ukraine and go take the capital of Ukraine, Kyiv, through there. So that is very likely what is going to happen with that. And this is what's really interesting. Another sign of total escalation, likely Chinese involvement soon, as Russia and China are very much allies and military allies. President Putin is to visit China from May 19th to the 20th. So that's Tuesday and Wednesday coming up next week. Coming right up. President Putin is going to China immediately after Trump, almost immediately after that theatrical display is over. President Putin is going there for talks with Xi Jinping, likely to coordinate. Maybe President Xi will do the invasion on Taiwan around the same time President Putin makes his moves on Kyiv and the Baltic states, which are countries like Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia. I think those are the Baltic states. That's on it's like a northwestern side of Europe. I think somewhere just north of Belgium. It's in a very interesting spot. Though and it's very close to Russia. So that's what President Putin will be doing soon as well. They've been setting up to do that for a long time, and they've been setting up to finish the war in Ukraine for quite some time. President Trump is panicking pretty much. Some kind of panic prepping by him, calling on chip makers to move to America, warning China could move on Taiwan after he leaves office. And I said, I think they will move on Taiwan in the coming months. That'll be how the U.S. fights China directly. If China doesn't go and support their ally Iran kinetically before then. So I think, I'm very positive, that's absolutely unbelievable that President Trump thinks they're going to wait another year or so before they move on Taiwan. Things are predicted to happen far beyond even where it is now, right after New Year's of 2027. It's likely going to be before that. This summer could be absolutely historic. I think it will be really something this summer. there will likely not be any more ceasefire. The price of fuel will absolutely skyrocket and go to $200 per barrel. It is over $100 per barrel right now, about $105 per barrel, the price of oil. And then there are shortages starting now when it comes to oil for motors and the lubricants that's used for several things. So once the price of oil skyrockets and becomes more unaffordable, and once there's more shortages of gas and diesel and jet fuel, the jet fuel is already happening now. That is going to be absolutely catastrophic for the country and the world. And that is what is happening now. Everything is going upwards. It is escalating upwards when it comes to the total kinetic phase of World War III. This is week 12 now. He thought he could do it in a week or two, President Trump. How wrong he was. We are 10 weeks beyond what he probably thought. That's how delusional he is. He thought he could go into Iran and be done in a week or two. A country that is larger than Texas and a lot of Europe. I think Iran might be larger than the entirety of Europe. It's around that same size, if not larger. And he thought he could go in there and be done in maybe 2 weeks, or maybe he was even delusional enough to think that it could be done in days. So things are escalating rapidly. Things are absolutely historic right now, and things will get far more intense as the days go on. It is not going to end anytime soon. It is continuing to escalate. It is continuing to intensify. The price of oil is going to space and beyond. These will have massive effects on the world, and especially here domestically in the United States. This war is not just in Iran, thousands of miles away. It's everywhere. This is the total kinetic phase of World War III, week 12. Stand by for further news. Please like and comment on this initially live stream that will be posted to my YouTube channel once this is done. We have some further news. We have jet activity over Erbil and another, I think, city in Iraq. So we have fighter jet activity over Erbil and another city, I think, I'm not sure exactly what that second one is, over Iraq right now. So these fighter jets could be going to Iran at this very moment to bomb them. An Operation Sledgehammer may be about to begin at any moment. That's what they're renaming Operation Epic Fury, or they're calling it another operation entirely. And that could that could be for the to get past the restriction of the 60 days that the U.S. military has to go into another country in a military way. without they have to declare war. The U.S. has to declare war if there's military activity for beyond, I think the number is 60 days. Huge news we had here tonight. This is an absolutely historic time, an absolutely historic day for this total kinetic phase of World War III, the 12th week of it. Not the Iran war, it is what I just said. Please keep on preparing. I always recommend physical assets such as gold, silver, land, ammunition, foods, storable foods, freeze-dried foods. It is not financial advice, though it is a great thing to have. All of those things are great to have. They are all preparedness items. They are all things that will last a very long time. So please keep on preparing physically, mentally, and spiritually. I will be continuing to monitor this war, this World War III, every day and every night, as I usually do, and even more so in the coming days, because it is going to rapidly intensify, and this is continuing to also rapidly escalate. Keep on preparing in all ways, and I recommend learning new skills and things that take a short time very, very soon. It's best to learn and know how to do things before SHTF. And SHTF itself is imminent. Do not get complacent and keep on preparing once again, physically, mentally, and spiritually. For now, love, light, and blessings to you all.